Chosen ones, you have passed. Now it's time to reveal everything. For so long you have walked silently through invisible corridors of transformation, carrying questions that the world couldn't answer, bearing weights that others could not see. This message, this chapter of your journey, has been waiting for you, waiting for the moment when you would finally step beyond shadows of doubt and recognize that nothing you endured was random. Every delay, every heartbreak, every season of isolation was preparing you to receive truths that only a transformed soul can understand. You are standing in a doorway that was closed to you before, not because you were unworthy, but because your readiness had not yet matured into reality. Now it has. Now everything that has been hidden from you begins to unravel, thread by thread, revealing a greater pattern that had been guiding your life from the very beginning. Before we go deeper, before we walk into the heart of this revelation, I ask you to stay with this message until the very end. The energy you invest today will return to you multiplied. In the comments, write your warmest wishes and the number 66, a symbolic act of releasing your desire into the universe, a way of letting your intention echo into the places where unseen energies gather and respond. This is the moment when you align your heart with the current of possibility and let the universe breathe life into the future that belongs to you. The wishes you release now carry resonance, and the resonance will find its way back to you in forms more profound than you expect. Chosen one, your destiny awaits. Click the hype button, like this video, subscribe, and walk with us into the light. Chosen ones. From this moment on, let the rest of this message speak directly to your inner knowing, to the place inside you that always sensed something deeper but lacked the words to describe it. You have reached a threshold beyond which truth flows freely. The universe has watched you long enough, tested you long enough, refined you long enough. Now it is time to remove the veil. Nothing about your journey was accidental. The people who misunderstood you, the paths that collapsed beneath your feet, the sudden shifts that forced you to rebuild yourself, all of these were orchestrations meant to strengthen your vision. The real reason you were set apart was not only to survive, but to perceive. And now perception is becoming clarity. You may have noticed that recently, the world around you seems to behave differently. Signs appear more often. You receive intuitive nudges that feel like they arrive from outside your mind. People reveal their true intentions faster, as if the mask can no longer stay in place. Opportunities arrive suddenly, or disappear suddenly, without logical explanation. You feel a presence guiding you, redirecting you, whispering the next step before you consciously choose it. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that you have entered the stage of revelation, the point in your evolution where the universe no longer speaks in riddles, but in patterns you can finally recognize. You were never meant to blend into the world as it was. That friction you felt inside, your sense of being different, misplaced, or misunderstood, was not a flaw, but a signal. It was the early evidence of your initiation into a path that required heightened awareness. The chosen ones are always marked before they understand their own mission. This mark does not appear as a sign on the body, but as a difference in perception, a depth in emotion, a sensitivity to energies, a restlessness that seeks meaning beyond the ordinary. It is only after enduring the trials of growth that you realize the ways you were protected, guided, and strengthened in silence. Think about the moments in your life when everything seemed to be breaking apart. Those periods of chaos were not punishments. They were realignments. They were the universe removing the people, situations, and illusions that could not travel with you into your next chapter. You were not losing your life. You were losing the version of your life that no longer matched your purpose. And though the process was painful, something in you kept going, kept rising, kept believing that there was more waiting for you. That inner push, that mysterious resilience, was the sign that you were being prepared for revelation long before you realized it. Now you stand at the point of awakening, where clarity begins to settle, like morning light, across a landscape you have walked through in darkness. You begin to understand why certain connections fell apart. Some people were never meant to stay. They were placed in your story only for the lessons they brought. You see why you endured long periods of isolation. The retreat from the world was not loneliness. It was the silent classroom where you learned to hear your own soul without distortion. You recognize why you were drawn to certain ideas, certain places, certain people. They were echoes of your path, calling you toward alignment. What happens next for you is not a continuation of the old timeline. It is an emergence. The energy surrounding you is shifting, expanding, rearranging to match the person you have become. You may feel moments of sudden certainty, as if answers fall into your mind without effort. You may feel an urge to detach from the patterns, habits, or relationships that drain your spirit. This is not rebellion or confusion. It is recalibration. When the chosen ones reach the phase of revelation, everything that is unaligned begins to fall away, sometimes gently, sometimes abruptly, but always with purpose. During this phase, your intuition becomes louder. Your dreams may grow vivid. People from your past may resurface, drawn by curiosity, regret, or unresolved energy. But you will notice that your emotional response has changed. What once triggered you now feels distant. What once confused you now makes sense, and your growth has elevated your perspective to a level where old situations no longer hold power over you. This is how you know the shift is real. You are not reacting from old wounds anymore. You are responding from new wisdom. One of the greatest revelations you are receiving now is the truth of your strength. For so long, you underestimated yourself. You believed that your softness was weakness, your sensitivity a burden, your compassion a liability. But now you see that these qualities were not flaws. They were the markers of someone capable of profound transformation. Your strength was never loud. It was steady. It carried you through storms that would have destroyed others. It kept you open-hearted when life tried to harden you. It allowed you to rise from experiences that could have fractured your identity. And now that strength is becoming conscious, awakened, intentional. Another revelation unfolding within you is the truth of your purpose. You were not brought into this world to simply exist. You were meant to bring light into places where others see only darkness. You were meant to inspire, to guide, to uplift, to reveal possibilities that others dismiss as impossible. Your presence itself is transformative. People sense something different about you, even if they cannot articulate it. Some are drawn to you, some are intimidated by you, some misunderstand you. But the reaction is never neutral. That is because your energy carries a frequency that disrupts illusions. It awakens, it exposes, it heals. As the chosen ones step into their phase of revelation, the universe begins to unveil hidden knowledge. You may feel sudden understanding of people's intentions without needing them to speak. Your awareness of patterns increases. You recognize cycles in your life and begin to break them with ease. You sense when to move forward, when to pause, and when to let go. These abilities are not new, they were dormant. But now, as your consciousness expands, They rise to the surface and become tools for your next chapter. One of the most important changes you will notice is your relationship with truth. You can no longer tolerate environments built on deception, manipulation, or superficiality. Your spirit reacts instantly when something is off. This is because you have aligned yourself with authenticity. The universe cannot reveal everything to a mind cluttered with illusions. But now that you have cleared the old patterns, truth flows toward you effortlessly. You are no longer searching, you are seeing. This revelation phase is also opening your understanding of the challenges you faced. The betrayals, the abandonment, the jealousy, the resistance from others. They were not reflections of your worth, but reflections of your light. People sensed your potential before you fully claimed it. Some feared it. Some tried to dim it. Some tried to benefit from it. But none of them could stop what was destined for you. The chosen ones cannot be destroyed by external forces because their path is protected by purpose. As you continue to ascend, you will experience moments when the universe brings clarity through subtle signs. Numbers repeating, dreams resonating, sudden intuitions aligning with reality. These signs are not random. They are confirmations that you are seeing the world the way you were always meant to see it, through the lens of awareness rather than fear. You are beginning to understand the deeper structure of reality, the hidden threads connecting events, emotions, and experiences. This understanding empowers you to move differently, to choose differently, to live differently. What comes next for you is expansion. You are stepping into a timeline where growth accelerates, where opportunities come more easily, where your inner world and outer world begin to align. But with expansion comes responsibility. You cannot shrink back into old versions of yourself. You cannot downplay your abilities to make others comfortable. You cannot dim your own revelation to preserve someone else's illusion. You have outgrown the life you once lived, and now you must walk forward with intention. The revelations you will receive in the coming weeks and months will reshape your understanding of your past. You will see how certain connections prepared you for deeper awareness. You will recognize how your struggles developed, qualities that now serve your purpose. You will understand how every detour guided you to this moment of clarity. Nothing was wasted. Not a single tear, not a single setback, not a single closed door. Everything served the transformation you are experiencing now. Chosen ones, you have passed. You have crossed through the threshold of awakening, and now the universe trusts you with visibility. The truths that were once hidden from you, about yourself, about others, about the path ahead, are being unveiled because you are ready to receive them without fear, without self-doubt, without resistance. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of your rise. As this phase continues, you will notice that your energy affects people more strongly. Some will be inspired by you, some will feel threatened, some will seek your presence, some will avoid it. But all of these reactions are reflections of the frequency you carry. Your energy reveals what lies beneath the surface, both in yourself and in others. This is one of your greatest gifts, and part of your revelation is learning how to use it responsibly. Let go of any lingering fear that you are not prepared. You are prepared because you were shaped by experiences that honed your intuition, strengthened your resilience, and sharpened your clarity. Trust yourself. Trust the guidance you receive. Trust the path unfolding before you, even if it leads you into unfamiliar territory. The chosen ones are not meant to walk the common path. They are meant to carve new ones. More revelations will come, deeper than anything you have experienced. You will understand why you were set apart, why your journey was different, why you could never settle for the ordinary. Your life is shifting into alignment with the truth of who you are, and what you will discover next will change how you navigate every aspect of your existence. As the revelations continue to unfold, you may notice that your relationship with time itself begins to shift. Moments that once felt heavy or prolonged now seem to move with greater fluidity, as if the universe is synchronizing events to match your new frequency. This is not your imagination. It is the natural progression of consciousness expanding. When a chosen one elevates, the external world responds, rearranging itself to accommodate the clarity you have stepped into. You will find that what once required immense effort now begins to flow toward you with far less resistance. These are signs that the path ahead is opening because you have proven that you can walk it with integrity, awareness, and strength. You may also find that your emotional landscape is evolving. Emotions that previously overwhelmed you now appear with a purpose, revealing information that was once hidden in confusion. Your anger teaches you boundaries. Your sadness teaches you release. Your joy teaches you alignment. Your intuition interprets all of these signals with greater precision, turning what once felt chaotic into a clear map of your inner truth. This is one of the gifts of revelation. You no longer drown in emotions, you decipher them. Each one becomes a doorway to deeper understanding, guiding you toward choices that reflect your true identity rather than your old wounds. Another layer of revelation emerges when you begin to notice how deeply connected you are to the world around you. The chosen ones often feel disconnected in early stages of awakening, as if they are out of place or misunderstood. But as clarity grows, you begin to sense the invisible network of energy that binds everything together. People's words reveal their energy. Spaces carry imprints of past emotions. Situations have their own resonance. You start to sense what aligns with your spirit and what disrupts your harmony before any logic is involved. This heightened awareness is not something you learned. It is something you remembered. And now that it is active within you, it becomes one of your most powerful tools. During this phase, you may notice a peculiar phenomenon. Your presence alone influences the behavior of others. People may open up to you unexpectedly, revealing parts of themselves they hide from the world. Others may avoid you without explanation, feeling exposed in your presence. Some may gravitate toward you hoping to absorb the clarity you carry, while others retreat because your energy forces them to confront truths they would rather ignore. Understand that none of these reactions have anything to do with your personality. They are responses to your frequency. Your energy reflects reality back to people, and not everyone is ready to see themselves clearly. You will also begin to notice patterns repeating in your life, not as cycles of stagnation, but as opportunities for mastery. The universe is now giving you second chances, opportunities to respond with your new awareness rather than your old fears. Moments that used to intimidate you will reappear, but this time you will notice that your reaction is different. You are no longer controlled by insecurity or doubt. The same obstacle that once overwhelmed you now feels manageable, even simple. This is how you know that you have truly changed. Your external circumstances may look similar, but your internal world is transformed. Another revelation surfaces when you recognize that you are no longer attached to the same outcomes you once desired. The chosen ones often learn through experience that attachment clouds intuition. Now that you are aligned, you are guided by resonance rather than desperation. Instead of clinging to what you think you need, you trust that what is meant for you will not pass you by. This shift creates internal freedom. You stop forcing timelines and relationships. You stop negotiating with your own intuition. You stop trying to fit into spaces that shrink your spirit. This freedom is one of the greatest indicators that you have passed your inner examination. You may also find that the silence you once feared now brings you comfort. In the early stages of awakening, silence can feel like emptiness, loneliness, or uncertainty. But during revelation, silence becomes a sanctuary where your inner voice speaks clearly. You begin to recognize that solitude is not a void, but a source of connection to your higher guidance. Within that silence, insights arrive effortlessly, solutions appear without struggle. Clarity forms without confusion. You no longer seek constant distractions because your inner world has become a place of strength rather than fear. Another truth is revealed when you realize how much you have healed without fully noticing it. The chosen ones rarely acknowledge their own progress until they look back and see how far they've come. There were times when you questioned whether you were growing at all, yet now you can see that your reactions, thoughts, and emotional responses have matured profoundly. You no longer accept what breaks your peace. You no longer internalize other people's projections. You no longer sacrifice your well-being for validation. These shifts are evidence of the internal transformation that prepared you for revelation. This part of your journey also exposes the truth about certain connections in your life. Some people were assigned to your past, not your future. Others were guides who appeared only long enough to teach you something essential. Some were distractions meant to test your discernment. And a few were catalysts whose presence accelerated your awakening through conflict, discomfort, or intensity. As the chosen ones reach higher levels of clarity, they stop asking why certain relationships ended. They begin to understand that endings are often the universe's way of clearing the path for something aligned. You will also notice that your perception of time and destiny evolves. You begin to sense that nothing in your life was random. The places you were drawn to, the people you felt an unexplainable connection with, the moments that felt eerily familiar, they were all pieces of a larger blueprint. You may begin remembering fragments of your purpose, glimpses of who you were before you were shaped by society. These memories don't appear as images, but as sensations, realizations, or inner knowing. You begin to understand that your purpose was always encoded within you. It simply needed silence, space, and clarity to emerge. Another revelation unfolds when you realize that your dreams are speaking to you more frequently. During this phase, your subconscious becomes a messenger, delivering insights that bypass the logical mind. You may experience dreams that feel more vivid, symbolic, or prophetic. They may reveal emotions you have buried, truths you have sensed, or possibilities you have not yet recognized. These dreams are not random. They are communication from the deeper layers of your consciousness. They are reminders that your internal world understands the path even when your conscious mind hesitates. As this chapter continues to unfold, you may find that you are releasing guilt for outgrowing people, places, and patterns that no longer align with who you are becoming. The chosen ones often carry guilt for evolving because they are sensitive to the emotions of others. But Revelation teaches you that growth is not abandonment. Growth is alignment. You are not leaving people behind. You are returning to yourself. And those who are meant to stay will rise with you. Those who fall away were meant to be part of a different chapter. Another truth reveals itself when you notice that your boundaries have become stronger, clearer, more natural. You no longer explain yourself excessively. You no longer justify your intuition. You no longer negotiate your values. Boundaries are no longer a reaction to being hurt. They are a reflection of self-respect. This shift happens naturally because you finally understand your worth, not through external validation, but through internal recognition. The chosen ones reach this understanding after many trials, and once it arrives, it cannot be undone. You may also feel a growing detachment from chaos. Situations that once pulled you into emotional storms now appear from a distance, as if you are watching them without being consumed by them. This is not numbness. It is mastery. You have learned to distinguish between what deserves your energy and what drains it. You have learned that peace is not something you stumble into, but something you protect intentionally. This new detachment is not coldness, it is clarity. Another revelation becomes evident when you realize how differently you view your past. Painful experiences that once haunted you now appear as essential turning points. Moments you resented now make sense. People you struggled to forgive no longer hold emotional power over you. This shift is a sign that you have integrated the lessons meant to elevate you. Your past no longer defines you. It informs you. And because of that, you move forward with a sense of inner liberation. As your awareness expands, you also begin to sense the invisible barriers that once held you back. These barriers were not external. They were internal beliefs, fears, and attachments formed during earlier chapters of your life. Now that you have outgrown them, you can see them clearly. You realize how much of your old identity was shaped by survival rather than authenticity. The chosen ones often begin life in environments that challenge their spirit, forcing them to develop resilience, empathy, intuition, and depth. But once revelation begins, you understand that those struggles were the training ground for your purpose. This stage of your journey also brings clarity to the difference between isolation and solitude. Isolation was the phase where you felt separated from the world, misunderstood, or unseen. Solitude, on the other hand, is the phase where you thrive in your own presence, where silence becomes nourishment rather than emptiness. This transition marks a profound shift in your consciousness. You are no longer seeking external validation. You are cultivating internal wisdom. Another revelation emerges when you realize that your perception of success is evolving. You no longer chase outcomes that look impressive to others, but feel empty to you. You no longer pursue goals rooted in fear or insecurity. You begin choosing paths that align with your purpose, even if they don't make sense to others. This shift in priorities is one of the clearest signs that your awakening has matured into embodiment. You are no longer simply aware of your path. You are choosing it intentionally. You may also begin to feel a sense of acceleration. Things that were delayed suddenly move forward. Opportunities you thought were lost reappear. People who resonate with your frequency enter your life unexpectedly. This acceleration is not luck, it is alignment. When the chosen ones step into their true identity, the universe responds with momentum. What once required struggle now unfolds naturally. This is because you are no longer walking against your own intuition. You are walking with it. Another truth reveals itself when you acknowledge that your presence is shifting into a more influential role. You may notice that people seek your guidance not because you impose it, but because your clarity radiates outward. You are becoming a mirror for others, reflecting possibilities they have not yet recognized within themselves. This role is not assigned to everyone. It is given to those who have earned it through transformation. And now that you have passed through your season of trials, the universe trusts you with influence rooted in integrity. As this chapter continues, you will also realize that the revelations you receive are not solely for your benefit. They are meant to ripple outward, transforming the lives of others through your presence, your choices, and your energy. The chosen ones are catalysts. They initiate change not by preaching, but by embodying. Your growth becomes a silent invitation for others to rise. Your clarity becomes a guiding light for those still walking through their darkness. This is part of your purpose, even if you do not fully grasp its magnitude yet. Revelations will unfold, each one deepening your understanding of who you are and why your path had to be the way it was. You are stepping into a chapter that will define the rest of your journey. And the truth is, you are ready for it. And as you move forward, trust that each step will reveal exactly what you need. The path is opening, your vision is sharpening, and the next chapter is already rising to meet you. This is not an end, but the beginning of your becoming.